Well, special counsel Jack Smith, he unsealed those indictments accusing Trump of criminal conduct. Watch.
Our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced. Violations of those laws put our country at risk.
Reporter Natalie Brand is in Washington with more on the first ever federal criminal charges against a former U.S. president.
Ryan and Reed, this indictment lays out 37 counts against the former president. Prosecutors described that some of the documents involved in this case included information about U.S. nuclear programs as well as defense and weapons capabilities. Prosecutors also alleging the former president not only possessed and mishandled classified information, but shared some of it with others.
The Department of Justice has unsealed the 49-page indictment issued by a federal grand jury in Miami against former President Donald Trump.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
Special counsel Jack Smith detailed the charges, which include unlawful retention of national defense information, obstruction, conspiracy, and false statements. Prosecutors say Trump shared a highly sensitive Pentagon plan of attack to visitors at his golf club in New Jersey and was recorded on tape admitting it had not been declassified.
Our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced.
The indictment included photos of boxes stashed in different rooms around Trump's estate.
The criminal case against the former president stems from the 15-month effort by the federal government to retrieve records he had at his Mar-a-Lago estate.
During a search of the property last August, federal investigators seized more than 300 records, including classified documents and some marked top secret. Trump calls the case the boxes hoax. His first court appearance is scheduled for Tuesday in Miami.
They come after me because now we're leading in the polls again by a lot, against Biden and against the Republicans by a lot.
The case will play out as GOP presidential primary season heats up, with Trump already fundraising off the indictment.
The indictment also names Trump aide Walt Nauta as a co-conspirator in this case. He's a former White House military valet, and prosecutors alleging that he helped to obstruct the investigation. They allege he made false statements during an initial FBI interview. Meanwhile, the special counsel says he will seek a speedy trial, not just out of public interest in this case, but also for the rights of those accused. Ryan, back to you.
All right, thanks, Natalie. There's a lot to digest from this explosive 44-page indictment. Here to help us is Stanford law professor David Sklansky, and thank you for joining us. First of all, what were your initial takeaways from that federal indictment?
Well, the general shape of the charges is what we've been expecting for some time. What was really stunning was the wealth of detail, the details about the evidence that the special counsel has been able to obtain regarding communications within Mar-a-Lago, Trump's personal control over the handling of the documents, details about how sensitive these documents really were, details about statements that Trump making it clear that he knew that these documents were highly sensitive and classified, and details about efforts that Trump made to have his agents, including his lawyers, mislead the government and help him to hide these documents from the government.
Yeah, a lot of details, but special counsel Jack Smith kept his comments very brief, actually urging people to read the federal indictment themselves, almost seemingly going out of his way to make his remarks as nonpartisan as possible. But as polarizing as the political rhetoric has become in this country, how does the special counsel keep the politics out of this case?
Well, it's not clear that he's going to be able to do it. He'll try as hard as he can. He's tried to make the case to the American public in a way that's clear and objective, asking that people read the indictment and taking the time to craft an indictment in clear English that lay people can understand, I think, is part of that effort.
And the judge in this case is Trump appointee Eileen Cannon. She has been previously rebuked by federal appeals courts for some of her decisions during the battle over material seized from Mar-a-Lago. So do you think this could impact how this all plays out?
Well, it's not clear that she's going to be the judge who will preside over the trial. She may just handle the initial appearance. We'll have to see.
And also, the special counsel had mentioned a speedy trial. What exactly does that mean when we're talking about a federal indictment?
Well, the defendant has a right to have a trial within a certain period of time. And sometimes prosecutors seek to delay that amount, the trial, so that they'll have additional time to prepare. Smith has made clear that they don't intend to do this. What will be interesting, one of the things that will be interesting to see next Tuesday, is whether Trump's lawyers give any indication of how hard they will try to delay the trial and what arguments they will make to delay it if that's what they want to do.
And will the former president have to make an appearance?
He'll be in court on Tuesday, yeah.
Okay, he will. All right. Well, thank you very much. Always great information. Professor David Sklansky from Stanford Law, thanks for joining us.